After failed attempts to sign Fawaz Basadin from Stellenbosch, Kaizer Chiefs have now shifted their attention to another left back. Who is this left back, you might ask? Riaan Hannamub, who is 29 years old and has a year remaining in his contract with Amazulu Football Club. But Mpilo, I thought Riaan Hannamub was from Namibia. How are we going to now sign another foreign player? Well, I've got good news for you. Well, that's if you want Hannamub to come to Chiefs. He's actually now eligible to be registered as a South African player because of how many years he has played in South Africa. So that sort of deals with that foreign sport quota issue. And I know some people are not really that convinced about Hannamub, but if you look elsewhere in the country, can you find anyone else? Because at some point last season, Riaan Hannamub was in the top 5 of the most creative players. Yeah, in the number of crosses that he was delivering into the box, but they were not scoring them. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter being critical of him about his technique and all of those things. And I'm not saying he's the best. I'm just saying that if at some point he was in the top 5 as Opta Jabu released those stats last year, I was like, that's interesting. So the fact that he was even mentioned among the best people who were creating chances, and given how the coach of Amazulu was coaching that team, I am really not surprised that some of the players who were playing for Amazulu ended up regressing. So Riaan Hannamub coming to Kaizer Chiefs, he does not seem like he's going to be too expensive to sign, given that Amazulu will not be risking to have this player go to his final 6 months whereby any other team can sign him on a pre-contract. The problem though is we're talking about Amazulu Football Club here, and we know that they've had their fair issues with Kaizer Chiefs. And one of those issues is the fact that they went and they signed Usia Tembastebe on a pre-contract, and that grudge has not passed. And I just wonder if Amazulu will be able to say, oh, hey, look, yeah, we're going to sell you the player, because we've seen that managers, not managers, but CEOs and owners of these clubs, sometimes they just want to show who's boss. I made an example about PSG rejecting 180 million euros from Real Madrid for Mbappe, but now Mbappe ended up leaving PSG, going to Madrid for free. So they might just want to prove a point to Chiefs and keep him and let him go on a free. But they also know that if they refuse to sell to Chiefs, Chiefs are in a desperate need to get a left back. And I mean desperate, like not just like exaggerating things, because with Udove, we knew that he was injured, but we did not know to this point how long or how bad his injury was. And now we're hearing that, according to FIFA Post, he's actually going to be out for up to 8 months. Like if we start counting August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So that's 8 months in March, and you would still need to recover April and May. So that person is not coming back this season, which means Chiefs will not be registering Edmilson Dove, which is why they ended up signing Inacio, because they had space free to register a foreign player because Dove will not be registered. So now the question is, who can Chiefs go for if this deal of Riaan Hannamub collapses? Because clearly with the deal of Fawaz Basadin, it does not seem like it's happening. Now, the other thing that I want us to discuss is, what do you guys think of Njabulo Blom? Because he is on his final 4 months of his contract, and his team, St. Louis, do have a 2-year option to extend his contract. The problem, though, is that there's been a change of coach over there. That's one. But two, in just the last game that St. Louis played, he wasn't in the squad because he got suspended for having some disagreements and not coming to the and not joining the team on the pitch when they were taking penalties. I hope that wasn't the big deal, but in football, man, people have prides, and I don't think a coach would let that slide, that He told the player to do something, a player refused to do that thing, and now he's gonna look weak. So we know that usually these coaches try to respond by fire by force to just prove a point. And if that happens, God forbid, because we want Blom to continue and end up in Europe. But if he ends up being sidelined, would you be welcome? Would you welcome Blom back? Because now, remember, this is Njabulo Blom who left Kaizer Chiefs because they were not giving him the money that he wanted, and he went to America. He got, I'm sure, more money than the one that he was asking for at Kaizer Chiefs. So when it comes to Kaizer Chiefs, he's clearly gonna want exactly how much he's getting there, at minimum or more than that. And I don't think that's less than $1 million at this point. So do you guys think we would be taking Blom? Would you want to take Blom even if he cost $1 million a month to Kaizer Chiefs? Do let me know on the comment section below. And let's also talk about Oswin Appollis, because Oswin Appollis is on the verge of going to Algeria, and the fee for him going there is reportedly to be around 10 million rands, which makes me say, what? Are you kidding me? Are you telling me that Chiefs did not want to pay 10 million? Guys, come on. They did not want to pay 10 million. And I know someone is already typing on their keyboard, below, you started with negativity. Yeah, call it negativity. But if Chiefs can't pay 10 million for a player like Appollis, who are they going to pay 10 million for? Because clearly all the deals that they are talking about is the range that I've been talking about. The 10 million, Chiefs have paid 10 million when they had to. Like some genius yesterday was telling me that Chiefs paid 10 million for Umthetho and paid 10 million for Dupree. I know that, but how many players does Chiefs pay that amount for? They paid that much for Dupree because they had let go of all the strikers. So they had to buy Dupree for 10 million. Umthetho, they had to get him for 10 million because they released Blom. So they had to get him for 10. And also, the whole season after Blom had left, they did not have a midfielder who could play as a 6. So they bought Umthetho because they had to. So Appollis looks like someone that I guess they don't think they have to buy. But a player of that age, of that quality, I don't understand why we would not pay 10 million for him. It's just perplexing to me. Now, because this is the other thing that happened. You know my feelings about Kaizer Mayo. I said I didn't mind whether he came to Chiefs or not, but mainly I just did not care because I don't see him as a player who lifts up a team and can just win the game on his own. But his agent is reporting that Chiefs were actually seconds too late to get Kaizer Mayo. Apparently, Chiefs made a bid, and it was after the team that ultimately signed Umayo got him. I'm like, so Chiefs were close to the 35 million mark to buy Umayo. I find that impressive in a way that they were even able to want to pay that much, because the agent says that if the deal to go to Algeria had failed, then the next deal was going to be Chiefs for sure, because Mayo also did want to come to Chiefs. But now my thing is, if they had that money that they had planned to spend on Mayo, because that's at least at the very least 20 million, because Mayo was very expensive. So if they had 20 million that were willing to spend on Mayo, why can't you then take the 10 and spend it on this guy or Appollis? Or take all of that money and spend it on Fawaz Basadin? I am just asking. So it's weird to me. And there is another striker that is still available that Chiefs could still go for, and that is Ashley Cupido. But it's highly doubtful that he might come to Chiefs. Reason being, Stellenbosch are eyeing him as a replacement for Ikram Reyners, and also Pirates are looking at him. So Kaizer Chiefs, with the beef nyana that has just ensued between them and Cape Town Spurs, then it might be tricky to get the deal over the line. If you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and like the video if you've been watching to this point. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, Khosi, Appollis.